especially in the second half, because you mentioned about those changes, and United did look better in the first half. They looked like they had more flow to their game, and that happened before the changes happened. A lot of tweets are coming in that says, it looks like United are playing better without Cristiano Ronaldo. United is playing better with Ronaldo off the pitch. Bruno is more creative when he doesn't have to play to one player. Martial looks the business too as well, which we've just mentioned on top of that. Danny, do you agree that United plays better without Cristiano Ronaldo?
I agree to a certain extent, but I think there's a big furore put on Cristiano Ronaldo. It's expected now when he comes onto the pitch, he's got to score 2 goals, he's got to get man of the match and what have you. Let's not forget he's got 5 goals in 6 games. But if you are going to play Ronaldo, then you have to play to his strengths. And one of the things in my mind when you look at this United team is that Luke Shaw will get forward at every opportunity. Wan-Bissaka's more defensive-minded, and we know how good Ronaldo is when crosses are coming into the box. But he came onto the pitch and he didn't really have that much to attack. Now, we know that he drops deep to get involved. Well, if he's dropping deep, then you've got to have players that get in advance of him. And the type of player he is now is a player that's obviously 36, he's matured, and he's changed the role that he plays. So he's not a player that's going to drift wide, take on 2 or 3 players, the energy side of things. So what he needs is players to get in advance of him, and then balls be put into the box. So otherwise, you're not going to get Ronaldo at his best. And that's something that I don't think United adjusted to when he came onto the pitch.
Victor, I mean, on Cristiano Ronaldo as well, I mean, we want to talk a lot about United's identity and style of play. On top of that, it's come under a lot of criticism in the past week. I think the past season or 2, you'd say there were some semblance of United finding that style, finding that identity. But when Cristiano Ronaldo joined, it's almost like they've abandoned that plan. And it just looks a little bit dysfunctional to some level, I'd say.
I still think they're trying to find the players that they want to play. You know, Rashford's still out, Sancho's still, finding himself. Me and Danny did speak earlier, and the issue that United have is that all the wingers want to come in. All of them want to come into that space. None of them really stay wide and take on players. Martial does stay wide. He stayed wide a little bit, but he always wants to come in. So these crosses that you need, the fullbacks are not doing enough. Wan-Bissaka is not that great, going forward and crossing the ball. So that's the thing. So it's difficult for Solskjaer because we say that United are finding their identity. I still don't know Manchester United's identity at all. Even before this, I didn't know, what their identity was. It's just that they have good players in their team that do bail them out a lot of the time. But I feel like when Sancho, Rashford, when these guys, these wingers come back or come into better form, then, maybe they can get these better performances. But at the moment, it just seems like they just go out and just play and, hope for the best at times. That's what I feel like when I watch United. And I haven't watched them too much, but that's how I feel when I do see United. I see no real fluid play or, really... Danny, you'll know, like when you watch City or Liverpool and these teams, they really, you know how they play. You know that they're going to, be on top of teams, control the game, and they'll
even today, Victor, Everton's game plan and style was a lot more evident than United's, Danny. Exactly. Can you see an identity in Manchester United?
The problem that they have is that when you look at Liverpool, when you look at Manchester City, when you look at Chelsea, when you've been watching them for 5 minutes, you know exactly what their game plan is. There's a real lack of consistency within this United team. Now, the pressure's going to be on Solskjaer because the money he's spent and there's some of the players that have come into the club. But for me, I still go back to that defensive midfield part of the team. Because if you look at Liverpool, if you look at Chelsea, you look at Manchester City, those three in particular, it's non-stop. So when the opposition clears the ball, the defensive midfielder's picking up and straight away they're on the front foot again. The problem is with United is that they get countered on because the defensive midfielders aren't in the right position, because they're getting caught out, because they're not able to recycle the ball. A lot of the times, your Manchester Cities, your Chelseas, your Liverpools, they beat teams into submission because they just can't get out of their own half. Teams can get out of their own half against Manchester United, and that's the reason where, more often than not, if United have more possession, they've got more chance of losing the game. When United have less possession, the least possession they had this season was against Leeds United and beat them 5-1. United struggle when they dominate possession because they're then left wide open and they don't have those players in the central midfield position to A, keep the ball going, keep the pressure on, but to be actually stop the counter-attack. And the goals that United concede are so similar when they do concede.
The thing is, it was a problem. Sorry, Victor, go ahead.
I would like to throw a question to Danny because, and I do agree that they do need a defensive midfield player, but whenever I listen to Manchester United, supporters and stuff, they always need another player, always need an extra player, for them to get over the line. They wanted a centre-back. They got Varane, one of the best centre-backs in the world. Yeah. Now they need a top-class defensive midfield player. When they get a top-class defensive midfield player, then they're going to say they need Harry Kane or, somebody like this. So what is it going to take for Manchester United to actually compete? And the second question is, if Klopp or Guardiola were the Manchester United manager, do you think they would have a chance of winning the Premier League?
I think the last one you asked, 100%. I think, not being disrespectful, but I think Klopp and Guardiola, they are on another level to Solskjaer. I don't think there's any doubt in that. And I think you'd be foolish to say that Solskjaer's on their level. He's not. So yeah, there's an argument to say that those two would get more out of the players that are there. But what I would say from Solskjaer's side of things is there progression at the club? Yep, season after season, their finishes in the league have been better. They came second, all right, it was a distant second last season to Manchester City, but there's progression. The pressure is now on Solskjaer this season because he's gone and spent the money, he's got the players that he wants, and he needs a trophy. And I think that pressure now does start to build because he's done a lot of work behind the scenes, getting players out, bringing the average age of the squad down. Now it's all about, okay, we need to be challenging for the Premier League title. We need to be challenging on the European front, the domestic front. Obviously, they've gone out of the League Cup recently, which didn't help. So the pressure will be on that, on Solskjaer now. And Solskjaer knows that. There's always pressure at Manchester United. But when you go out and spend the money, that then obviously adds a huge amount of pressure. And for me, they probably need to be looking to win a trophy of some description this season, without doubt, and need to be challenging as well at the top of the Premier League.
You bring up all these positives under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the improvements on the individual level of a lot of these players, Danny. But does Ole then have the tactical nous to take them to another level to compete, like Victor mentioned, with the likes of Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola? Because with everything that has happened, they need to take it to another level. Is Ole the man?
Well, I think time will tell. I think this is a huge season for him. I think there's going to be no excuses this season now. It's not going to be a case of, oh well, he needs to go and do this or he needs to go and do that. He's been given the finances. He's gone and brought the players in. So the time of questioning, that needs to be answered will be this season. As in terms of the tactical side of things, it's you look at Klopp, you look at Guardiola. It doesn't just fall on those two. You have the coaching staff. Like I remember when I was playing, obviously not to the level of Manchester United or Liverpool or Manchester City. Yes, the manager would pick the team and what have you, but he had a coaching staff that would also do their fair share of it. I remember growing up at Manchester United, you go and train with the first team, and a lot of the time it was Brian Kidd or it was Steve McLaren that would take the sessions. So yes, it is on Solskjaer because the buck stops with him, but I just feel like the biggest frustration as a Manchester United supporter at the moment is that whoever they play against, they will give them a chance. If you're going to win the league, you've got to be consistent. You've got to make sure that you're getting clean sheets. To not have a clean sheet at home for the amount of time that's gone now for United is not something that's going to put you in a good position to try and win the league. So, they've got to rectify that. They've got to turn that round, and they have to be challenged They have to be challenging this season. It's as simple as that.
I think. I also think it's just simple. I don't think he's good enough to take them to the next level. It's as simple as that. I think he's done a great job in bringing, the harmony back to the team and good feel back to the team. But if we're honest, and if Manchester United really want to get to that level, he's not good enough to take them to the next level. It's as simple as that. He has been there for 3 years. They spent so much money. There's managers that are at less teams and they've done more in that small time. You see the identity that they play with. Manchester United is the biggest club in the world. And we're saying that they should compete for a trophy, FA Cup and League Cup, and they're not going to win the Premier League.
No.
It's not good enough. I don't think it's good enough. And if I was a United fan, I would want a better manager to come in personally. And that's not discrediting Solskjaer either, because many big managers have come into Manchester United and haven't been able to deliver. So if you can't he's actually probably done a lot more than some of the other guys that have come in, because he's brought harmony back to the team. He's brought a better feel back to the team, but sometimes, in life, your courses run, and I don't think he can take them to the next level. No chance. Absolutely no chance.
That's why I feel that this season is absolutely huge, because one of the things that's always thrown at Solskjaer as well, he's not won anything. What's his experience in management? Now, the only thing that I can say back to that is, yes, like I say, he's going to be judged this season, no doubt about it. What do
you think's going to change for the season? You've got Ronaldo and all these players. Everyone keeps saying, give him this season. For what? You've got all these top players. Ronaldo's 36. If they give him another year, he's going to be 37. Or why? Why give him a whole year? Why not just bring in a top manager now and get success?
Well, the problem that you have, and I agree with you 100% that some of the top coaches that are around, but if you look at United's 2 previous managers, won everything there was to win. You had Mourinho, just didn't work. Okay, he won the FA Cup and what have you, but as you've quite rightly said, Manchester United should be bigger than that and should be looking at the Premier League. Before him, they had Van Gaal, didn't work. Okay, I think he won the FA Cup as well. So I think from United side of things, the only problem that you have at the moment is that you've given Solskjaer this money. So he's gone out, he's brought the players that he wants to bring in. If you then go and bring another manager in, is he going to want another £200 million to then say, well, I need to adjust this team? So I think come the end of this season, I think that's when the judgment will be out. I think if he hasn't had successes in terms of bringing trophies to the club, then I think there will be huge question marks, because for a while now, people have said, well, he hasn't been able to spend this money or he hasn't been able to spend that money. They've got some of the best players in world football now. And you have to then translate that onto the pitch. And results like today, results like against Aston Villa, results like against away at Southampton, that's not acceptable for a team that is going to be challenging or aiming to win the Premier League. I know that Manchester City got drew with Southampton, but that's a one-off for Manchester City. And Chelsea are very workmanlike. Liverpool are getting back to their best now. And this is now when the time's going to tell. And the frustrating thing is for United supporters is more often than not, when they play against a Man City or a Chelsea or a Liverpool, that's when United are at their best. When they're having to dominate possession, that's when they're not at the best. Now, with the players you have in the team, Ronaldo, Fernandes, you have Sancho, you have Greenwood, you have Pogba, you should be able to dominate possession now and cruise through some of these games, and they're not doing it at the moment. And that's when the question marks are just going to get bigger and bigger.
The thing is that Ole has been in this job for such a long time, and I get the idea of, okay, give a manager a little bit of time to build something and really grow something, and he probably bought a little bit more time because of his status as a player as well with the club, the same way Lampard was given that job partly because of what he meant to Chelsea as a football club. But it also pays off, Victor, to be brutal at times if you want success. You look at the way that they fired Frank Lampard, they got Thomas Tuchel in, and pretty much immediately they got success.
I was literally going to stop Danny as we were speaking earlier, and I do think United should be ruthless. Ruthless with a touch of love. Solskjaer's done an amazing job to, like I said, to bring back that foundation back to United. He's brought back that harmony, brought down the average age of the club. You can see it's a more of a feel-good kind of place, but I don't think they look like winners there. They don't look like, when you watch Chelsea and stuff, or City or Liverpool, you know what they're going after. They want to win the league. They seem confident to win the league, Champions League. You watch United and I'm just like, I don't feel like they're going to win anything. Even you as a player. So let's turn it around to you. If Solskjaer's telling you you're going to win the league, are you really going to believe him as a leader to think he can take me to win the league? I don't think so. I don't think many of those big players in that dressing room, Ronaldo, Pogba, and these guys are looking at him thinking, and I've been in dressing rooms where players have not believed in the manager. And I definitely think that will be like that in that club. Sometimes he'll tell them some things and they'll be like, I don't agree with the things that you're saying. And if I was them, I'd be more the brutalist. Look, Chelsea did it. They won the Champions League. Surely they've been scouting they have a good scouting network to know the kind of manager to bring in to take them to the next level. And it's no disrespect to Solskjaer either.
Who would you, so if they were to do that, who would you bring in?
It has to align with Manchester United. I'm not a Manchester United supporter, so I don't know. If you want instant success and things like this, people will say Conte and these kind of guys, but I don't know. They'll know this huge, because I wouldn't have said Tuchel for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said him, but he's come in and he's done an incredible job. So I'm sure that they know what good managers are around, and I'm sure that they would have a list of, really good top managers. And yeah, but Manchester United, they're driven by finances and stuff. That's what it looks like. They're more driven by finances and off the field, and that's why they wouldn't do anything, so drastic like Chelsea. But that's what will bring them success, because I guarantee you we'll be here next season talking about the same thing. Because I was here on this show talking about Solskjaer last time against Everton, Manchester United, and I said it's not good enough for United, and we're back here again talking about the same thing.
Right, we're just going to quickly wrap things up then, gents. Just one final one from me. If you could have a crystal ball in your hand right now, yes or no, do you see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lasting the season, Victor?
I think yes, because it's United. I think yes, because it's United, and a lot of ex-players and stuff are really for him. If it was another club, I would say no chance. But because it's Manchester United, yeah, I think he could be here till the end of the season.
Danny, yes or no?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that he will be, and he'll be hoping that, the likes of Sancho and other players, Varane and obviously Ronaldo, Ronaldo's found his feet, he's hit the ground running, and, Solskjaer will be hoping now that the other players that have come into the club can do the same thing, but the results need to start getting better, because it's been a bad couple of weeks for them.